Hi, this is Nanette Hosenfeld with a Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, September 9th, 2019. Looking at fire potential impacts over the next few days, today and tomorrow we are looking at gusty winds with low relative humidity across southern portions of the Great Basin. You can see those areas highlighted in orange. These strong winds are ahead of a cold front that will move into the area today and tomorrow and will bring much cooler temperatures and widespread showers across the northern two-thirds of the area. Over the past 24 hours, there was quite a bit of precipitation that fell across the Great Basin, mainly across the northeastern portion of the area, and a lot of lightning with that as well. You can see that lightning image there on the right. Fire activity across the Great Basin continues to pick up. Initial attack was light yesterday across the Great Basin. Over the past 7 days, we've seen a bit of a shift in the precipitation patterns across the area. We were in a very dry period for about a month and a half, and we've seen a bit more precipitation lately. You can see over the past 7 days, a fair amount of precipitation has fallen across the northern and central portions of the Great Basin. If you look at the map on the right, that shows how it compares to normal. And you can see that portions of Idaho, Utah, and Nevada have seen above normal precipitation. However, if you look further south and southeast across the Great Basin, these areas have remained dry. The ERC map reflects that precipitation map pretty well. You can see the highest ERCs across the area are across the southern and southeastern portions of the Great Basin, where things have not been quite as wet. Continuing to look at the ERCs, we are near or at record values across the southern and southeastern portions of the Great Basin. You can see GB32, which covers southeastern Utah, is right around record levels for this time of year. This is significant because these are the areas that will be seeing the gusty winds, along with low relative humidities the next 2 days. Live fuel moistures across the Great Basin continue to sit right around average. You can see from these samples on the right, all three of them are pretty close to average, and that's pretty representative of the area as a whole. 10-hour fuel moistures have really come up across the northern part of the area, where things have been wetter and cooler. However, again, further south, where we have seen drier conditions, those 10-hour fuel moistures are still quite low. The satellite this morning shows that low pressure system in place across the northwestern portion of the United States, and that is a storm system that will drop down and impact the Great Basin the next 2 days. Looking at today, you can see the dry air in place across the southern part of the Great Basin with that storm system over the Pacific Northwest. And looking at the map on the right, you can see those orange highlighted areas representing the portions of the Great Basin that we are concerned about with that combination of a high wind and low relative humidities. And we do have some large fires in these PSAs that we are highlighting for wind. Looking at today in more detail, you can see those gusty winds forecast to impact portions of western Utah, eastern, southeastern Nevada. Pretty strong winds in the 40-45 mile an hour range possible this afternoon, with low relative humidities across the south. So moving to Tuesday, again, we look at that low pressure system moving closer to the area. We will see an increase in moisture across the northern and central parts of the area, but we are still concerned about low relative humidities and gusty winds across the very far southern portion of the Great Basin. And you can see those areas highlighted in orange on our significant fire potential map on the right. Looking in more detail, again, you can see on Tuesday pretty gusty winds across much of Utah, parts of southern Nevada, and into the Arizona Strip. But really, the main concern is for those areas that will have low relative humidities, and that's really just the far southern part of the Great Basin. As we move into Wednesday, that low pressure system moves off to the northeast. You can see the majority of the Great Basin has gone into green, with a cool and wet weather expected with that weather system. Looking at Wednesday in more detail, you can see our minimum relative humidities will be quite high in the 20s to 30s across the northern part of the Great Basin. So over the next 3 days, that low pressure system will bring quite a bit of precipitation to the Great Basin, mainly to the northern portions of the area. And you can see those areas highlighted on this precipitation map. As we move into Thursday, we start to see some high pressure building across the area. Temperatures will rebound a bit. Moving into Friday, pretty similar conditions. Nothing too interesting happening Friday. And a pretty similar pattern moving into Saturday with those higher humidities across the north, pretty dry across the south, and looking at that similar pattern continuing into Sunday. Over the next 7 days, you can see really it does stay dry across southern Nevada. We do see a little bit of precipitation across southern Utah and into the Arizona Strip. Finally, in the 8 to 14 day outlook, the Climate Prediction Center is calling for abnormally warm and dry conditions across the majority of the Great Basin. So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can find us on Twitter. Thank you.